Hi, I'm Nancy Erickson, the book professor. And today is my first day back working after spending 2 weeks in Israel with my husband. Now, we traveled all over the country. It is so rich in history, so rich in spiritual, religious significance. But one of the things that really struck me was on our very last day, which was Friday, when we went to the Israeli Museum. There they had a couple of really interesting things, a huge outdoor diorama of the whole country of Israel and certainly of Jerusalem and where very significant things happened that were chronicled in the Bible. But the other thing they had there was a portion of the Dead Sea Scrolls. And just to remind you, the Dead Sea Scrolls were found, I think, around in the 1950s. And they are portions, are full translations or recordings of the Bible that had been stored in caves and clay jars. And they found them and they were like, oh my gosh, this is stuff that's from like the first century AD. So as I was looking at these scrolls, just a couple of things were so amazing. Number one, the way they were written, they were fully justified on each side. There were no lines on them, and the handwriting was absolutely perfect. Now, I think it was in Hebrew, so it was from right to left, but just the precision of the writing. And then the other thing that struck me is that how important writing is, how important it is to capture events and significant things that happen in your life. Now, we would only have an oral history of things of history if people hadn't started writing them down. And as far as the Dead Sea Scrolls go, there were monks who were just copying and copying and copying and copying these documents rolled up into these scrolls so that we would preserve what was happening and what had happened for posterity. Now, it made me think of you and writing a book. Of course, you're not writing a whole history of, life, as was presented in the Bible. But there are things about you and about your life and what you know and what you've learned and what you've gleaned that would be so helpful in transforming other people's lives. So, I'm fascinated with writing. I love it. I love the history of seeing things that were preserved. And I also love helping people like you to capture your own history and significance in order for you to be able to save lives, change lives, and transform society.